Good morning, everyone. Boy, was it cold in the Coastal Bend. For this live update, we're going to break down how cold it is right now. These are some of the coldest temperatures we are going to experience for this cold snap. Additionally, we've got rain moving in late Friday. So we'll talk about how that rain will impact the forecast and how temperatures will go along with the rain. Finally, freezing rain is possible for areas mostly to the north. We'll break that down in this live update. Madeline. Hey everyone, it's meteorologist Carly Smith. We are back live. I didn't have the lights on, but now I do. So we are looking at temperatures that are cold, y'all. They are cold. That's about all I can say. How's everyone doing? Let me know in the comments. You can post your questions, concerns. How cold was it at your house? How cold does it feel? How long is the cold going to last? We're going to talk about it now. The current time is 11:24 a.m. So I've been trying to wait to see if Corpus Christi gets above freezing. So far, we'll take a look at the current temperatures in just a second. But right now, this is the graphic that shows how cold it got this morning. So we were down to 28 in Corpus Christi. The record low, by the way, is back in 2021. Remember that cold snap? So during the winter weather of 2021, the cold air of 2021 that no one's gonna ever forget, that was when the record was set. It was 27 degrees for a low. We are currently at we saw a low temperature of 28 as of now. That's what the data shows. So we are 1 degree shy of at least tying that 2021 record in Corpus Christi. Beeville got down to 25, and that's where the coldest weather has been and is still happening as we speak. So for your weather impact, there's that comparison. But this is not to 2021. This is to January of this year. So January 22nd, that's our last cold snap. We got down to 21 degrees in Corpus Christi. So it's not as cold as January. So if your pipes were fine then, they should be fine now. But overall, here's a look at the last 24 hours in Corpus Christi. We're still holding on to 32 degrees with the latest update from the National Weather Service. So 11 a.m., 32 degrees, but we have been at or below freezing since 11 p.m. So that is at least 12 hours for Corpus Christi at or below freezing. Hard freeze requires, I think, more than 2 hours at or below 28. I want to say it's 4 hours, but 28. We were there 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. So for 2 hours, we had a hard freeze, or we were at that top end limit there. The time below freezing, Beeville is still below freezing, so 16 plus hours. Rockport did get above freezing. It was 34 degrees last I checked. It may still fluctuate a little bit here or there based on the wind, but 14 hours and 10 minutes at or below freezing consistently in Rockport. Corpus Christi still below freezing, so 12 plus hours. Port Aransas was still below freezing last check as well, so 11 plus hours. Alice, 9 hours. Falfurrias, and 50 minutes, so almost 10 hours. Falfurrias, 5 hours and 20 minutes, and Kingsville, 5 hours. So a big spread. The reason Falfurrias and Kingsville stayed above 20s is because of clouds. If you were up early this morning, you saw a nice stratus layer just kind of move across the area. Falfurrias and Kingsville were under that stratus layer most of the morning, but it's moved across the rest of us as we continue throughout the morning. So it was really cool to watch, and anyway, I was excited about that. But now we're all back under the stratus, so that's why our temperatures are not warming up very quickly. But the stratus layer at night, it acts like a blanket, and that blanket helped keep Falfurrias and Kingsville above freezing a little bit longer than everybody else. So it was roughly 5 hours for them, and they are back above freezing now at 34 degrees in Falfurrias, 34 in Kingsville, or 35 in Sarita, 32, so right at freezing for Benavides, Alice, Corpus Christi. These are your current readings at 11:27 a.m. on this Thursday morning. 31 still at Flower Bluff, 30 at Port Aransas, 34 Ingleside, so back above freezing there, and Sinton. Corpus Christi still at freezing. Now areas across the south side may be starting to creep back in above freezing. Robstown is above freezing at 34 degrees. So that's a look. The wind. So as the wind lightens, our temperatures are going to be able to kind of warm up a little bit. But overall, it's the clouds that are going to keep us cold today. Let's see. Michelle says it feels good and prefers the heat or the cold over the heat any day. So this is your time to thrive. Summer's going to be rough, y'all. Here in Alice, mid-30s, no wind. Feels good. Awesome, Danny. Hey, John, thanks for watching also to you. So anyway, we'll take a look at the forecast now. So the National Weather Service did let the freeze warning expire. Now we have a cold weather advisory for some extreme wind chills. That is going to be through at least 2 p.m., but you did see our wind had already calmed down. Actually, let's go back. The blue numbers are wind chills. So right now the wind chill in Corpus Christi is above the teens, so that's good. We're at 23 for our wind chill. Port Aransas is still at 19. Beeville is still at 20. And so that's why that cold weather advisory is in place, because of the wind chill. So wind chills are still expected to be around the freezing mark, which does not technically matter for water because wind chill is a factor of how the air feels to your skin. It's not the actual air temperature, and water needs the air temperature to be 32 or below in order to freeze. I did a little experiment this morning. I put a water bottle outside when I got to work. We are on the south side, so it's not quite as cold as the airport, but I put a water bottle outside and it did not freeze. So from 3 a.m. till 10 a.m., I left that water bottle outside. Granted, a water bottle is kind of a lot of water. I didn't try like a shallower amount of water, but that's just an idea of how the pipe, it's not an exact comparison, but I was just curious because we have a lot of talk about, will the pipes freeze? Will they not? And so anyway, my water bottle did not freeze in the cold temperatures we saw this morning at the studio. So yeah, pretty fascinating. I may post a video about that later. But yeah, 40 degrees roughly, our afternoon high temperature. Wind chill still right around 32 degrees. So it's still going to feel brutally cold outside no matter how you slice it. But the wind is going to be lighter than yesterday. So today will be better than yesterday in terms of the wind, but it's still going to be very cold. In fact, I think our high temperature stays colder than yesterday because we have more clouds than yesterday. Overnight tonight, wind chills are still going to be dangerous, but we may flirt with freezing. So this particular model has Beeville and George West above freezing. I think I have our low temperature forecast somewhere. So 32, I think Beeville, George West, and Freer do get to freezing tonight. Corpus Christi, 36 is where we're going. So again, we're keeping the cloud coverage tonight. So that's gonna act like a blanket, and that's gonna help prevent us from freezing overnight tonight. So I think Flower Bluff and Port Aransas may wind up colder than 39, but it's a close call with cloud coverage out there. 32 for Freer, George West, and Beeville. So we'll come back to this graphic because I had an order to the things. Here's the hour-by-hour wind chill for Corpus Christi. Again, even though we warm up to 40, our wind chill still is going to be around the 30s. And overnight, it will fall into the 20s once again. So that's why we're still kind of having this weather impact alert, while we're still making sure you're not letting your guard down. In terms of people, pets, and plants. Now, pipes, after tonight, shouldn't be an issue. If you're dripping your pipes, you could probably stop now. As long as the water, you could probably stop now. Granted, Beeville is still below freezing, but we're getting out of that hard freeze zone. 30s overnight, wind chill. So tonight we were in the teens, or last night we were in the teens. Tonight and Saturday morning we're gonna be in the 20s. And then Sunday is the day we start to warm up. So the weather impact alert, because wind chill, really any wind chill in the 20s, really any wind chill in the 30s. The National Weather Service has 30 minutes to frostbite on exposed skin for wind chills as warm as 36. so that's above freezing, but it's a factor of how your skin is feeling. And so skin can get frostbite in temperatures above freezing, which is fascinating. Here's a look at our weather impact alert specifically. Now we are also transitioning, so if anyone's wondering about the rain and will it freeze, we're transitioning to a little bit of a risk of freezing rain. We've got cold conditions through Saturday, but the rain is Friday through Sunday morning now. Most of the hazard when it comes to cold rain nearing the freezing mark is before Sunday. So that would be Friday night, Saturday morning. Hazardous wind chills still in play, and then the cold rain, so you've got to dress in layers, including rain gear coming up. So here's a look at Futurecast today. Honestly, not doing a great job because we are dealing with more cloud coverage than what it's showing. 34 again this afternoon. We near 40 degrees by 3 p.m. and then we are going to stay in the upper 30s because of the clouds overnight. The rain starts to move in Friday. Friday morning we should still be pretty dry, and then it's isolated to scattered, so it's not going to be widespread. Now there may be a little bit of a mist more consistently, but in terms of rainfall, that's going to be hit or miss. Not everyone is going to see the rain at one time, but it will be off and on anytime Friday afternoon through Sunday morning. So now here's a look at the bigger picture. Why are we seeing the rain? There's a coastal low that forms in the wake of the cold front that has our temperatures so cold, and that then brings rain. Now here's a look at some of the temperatures. So areas closer to San Antonio will be closer to freezing. So freezing rain will be possible, but remember, it has to be 32 degrees at the surface for that water to freeze on contact. Now maybe some sleet tries to mix in. When I last looked at some of the upper air models or the SKU-T charts, the soundings, it didn't look like we were gonna, definitely didn't look like we were gonna get sleet or any type of grapple or pellets or needles. It didn't look like we would have that down here. San Antonio maybe, but probably not either, because there is a pretty warm nose, a warm layer up above that would melt anything. If any type of ball was to form, it would be right at the surface and it would be small and you would barely notice it. So anyway, 30s, flirting with freezing in San Antonio. The coldest temperatures will be early Saturday morning. So if you have plans to drive to San Antonio Saturday morning, maybe delay them until temperatures start to get above freezing into the afternoon. San Antonio looks like in the afternoon it will be above freezing, and then it's trending rain as we head into Sunday. So this is Sunday at noon. We're still looking at a chance of rain along I-37 toward Houston. Now this is our lower resolution model, so it's not going to be quite as widespread as it is showing, but the rain doesn't look to move out until after we get through Sunday morning. Then we're going to go back into that period where we have the chance for sea fog and fog overnight developing and then clearing out with sunshine in the afternoon. I want to point out wave heights have fallen, so we don't have a gale warning anymore, but we do still have a small craft advisory. Winds are out of the north at 20 miles per hour, gusts 27, and the water temperature out in the Gulf is 72. Closer into Corpus Christi Bay, it's in the low 50s now. Wind is out of the northeast, shifting a bit as that coastal low comes up. That's going to keep our wave action pretty rough out there. I want to point out Sunday, we do have a chance for some northwest winds, and so that could create some pretty fun surf, but that sea surface temperature is still going to be brutal, y'all, because we don't start warming up until Sunday. So, weather impact alert for extreme cold wind chills. So you see temperatures of 40 in the 40s. Wind chills are still in the low 30s, even in the afternoon. They're in the low 20s in the morning, mid-20s. We'll call it mid-20s in the morning for Thursday, Friday, or tonight, and then Saturday morning. Sunday is warmer, and additionally, we are tracking the rain. Saturday will be the rainiest day. Friday night into Saturday morning, that is the riskiest day, meaning travel north towards San Antonio could be icy. Yep, no need to drip the indoor faucets anymore. Let me go back to the current temperatures before we end this. Okay, I passed it. Okay, I think this is our current. So yeah, Beeville is now up to freezing. So no need to keep dripping pipes. Everyone is at least at freezing. So it's the hard freeze. It's temperatures in the 20s. It's really closer to 20. The closer that temperature is to 20 degrees, the greater your chances of freezing and busting pipes are. In my little experiment I did this morning, my water bottle did not freeze outside where we were in the upper 20s. I put one in the freezer just to see how fast it freezes in the freezer. It froze. I need to go back and look at my videos because I was scared to touch it because sometimes if water is super cooled, it can freeze on contact, like if you move it around. So I was scared to touch it and check to see if it was freezing, but it definitely started freezing pretty fast. I would say within an hour, definitely by 2 hours, by 4 hours, it was rock hard solid. But in your freezer, a recommended freezer temperature is 0 degrees. We were nowhere near that. So that was just an example. I wish I had something in the middle that was at 20 degrees to see how fast it would freeze there, but I didn't. This was just a spur of the moment kind of thing. But yeah, outside the water bottle did not freeze. In the 0 degree freezer, it did for sure, was frozen solid where it could bust within 4 hours. But we weren't that cold. So now we're definitely not cold. 32 is not going to freeze your pipes, especially the indoor ones and insulated ones. So no need to drip the pipes anymore. You can quit that. Even on the island, I mean, it says 30 at Port Aransas, 31 at Naval Air Station. Again, that's out of the 20s, so I wouldn't have any concerns there. Yeah, this is going to do it. I'm going to pull this up full so you can keep looking at the current temperatures. The current time now is 11:37 a.m. And this is going to do it for your live update. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the cold, and I hopefully no one has any major issues in this cold weather snap.